We are the heartbeat of Seattle.
Hi, and thank you for stopping by. Today, I want to just mention a little bit about something that's sort of the elephant in the room. In Seattle, there's a scourge of homelessness that's in the uptick with tent dwellers that are on private property. And the city council is starting to say that there's nothing they can really do about it. They want to take their time and they want to be cautious about how they deal with the homeless. Well, you've had over 30 years to deal with the homeless. I'll give you a for instance. A couple years back, I went to the dentist to get a tooth pulled. And as you can tell, I need some dental work. And thank you for your patience in putting up with all of this. I know it's not pleasant to look at, and hopefully my content overrides how I look. But a few years back, I went to the dentist, and the dentist had shot my mouth up with Novocaine. They were trying to pull out a tooth, and the dentist was trying to get it out, and it was taking too long, and the Novocaine wasn't working. They shot my mouth up 5 times with Novocaine. It did not work. So I told the dentist, I said, look, I know this is going to hurt. I know it's going to hurt, and I'm going to brace myself for it. But you just got to grab those pliers, and you've got to pull that tooth straight out. Just yank it as hard as you can and pull it straight out. I will complain, and I will yell, and I might even punch you and knock you out, but you got to do it. You just got to do it. Well, that's the way it's got to be with the homeless. They are people, I get that. They have lives, I get that too. But they are putting their lives in danger every day that they stay out on the street. Not only are they putting their lives in danger, but they are also putting the lives of the other citizens in Seattle in danger. It rains in Seattle, and it is not a good thing for it to be raining and you be stuck out in it. There's been times when I was living in Seattle and I was working late and I missed the last bus to get home, and I had to stay downtown all night with nowhere to be, and it was raining. I understand how horrible that can be. I was not homeless at that time. I was homeless various other times in other cities I've lived in. But I get it. And because I get it, I think we need to do the best we can to take care of this issue now. And what I mean by take care of this issue is we need to safely but abruptly get the homeless off the street and move them into a place where they can be looked after, where they won't be a harm to themselves and they won't be a harm to other people. Now, you have tent cities that are legitimate, that are helped by the city. You also have some tents that are popping up that are not legitimate. They're just popping up, sort of like breakaways. You got to just grab them. And when I say grab them, I don't mean forcibly kicking down their doors. I mean, you've got to go and put your foot down and say, look, we care about you enough to be careful, but in the same breath, we care about you too much to allow you to stay where you're at. We care that much about you. You may not care about yourself, and after you become homeless, and you've been homeless for a while, You tend to not care about yourself. It's very seldom that you find somebody who's homeless that lives like they're not homeless and treats themselves in a manner to where you would never know they were homeless. I've met a few people like that. But most people, once they've become homeless, you know they're homeless. You just know because they let everything hang out, and they will do whatever they can when they want. They don't have no regard for other people. Now they're not all like that. So when you hear me say this, don't get the idea that I am advocating the stance that all homeless are disrespectful and that all homeless don't care. There is some that do, but a vast majority of the people that become homeless, their minds are on Skid Row now. Their minds have gravitated to Skid Row. It is no longer where it used to be. It is down on Skid Row, and that's where it's going to stay. Even when you pull them out of there, their minds are going to stay on Skid Row because that's what they're used to. Now, for whatever reason the homeless are homeless, for whatever reason they got there, they are there now. So what are we going to do to make sure that the homeless doesn't stay that way? Well, there's going to be people that'll see this video probably. And I've had this on Speak Out Seattle on Facebook. I've gravitated to their group, and it deals with homeless problems. It deals with drug and alcohol issues and the needle exchange program. There's three major things that it deals with. And I was commenting on some stuff, and I've come to the conclusion that the people that say we want to get the homeless off the street, they want to do it, but they don't really want to do it. Because as soon as you offer them a viable solution that's good for everybody, they drag their feet. They make excuses on why it won't work. You can't do that. Seattle is too important of a city, and I will be damned if I allow Seattle to rot. Just sit there and rot. The current city council and the current mayor might not care about Seattle. They have things good. They can make it through all of this. The city council and the mayor, they can make it through this. They're living in the Fraser Crane Seattle, while the rest of us are living in the Seattle that's falling apart. And that's not cool. So, having said that, this is kind of a rant video, and I hate rant videos. I hate it when people rant and complain, but I just had to do this today because I just needed to talk about the elephant that was in the room. And there was a piece that was in the paper about how there's some of the homeless in tents that are ending up on private property now. And I don't advocate you being on private property unless you have permission. If you have permission, that's one thing. If you just decide to take it, that's something totally different. If somebody owns property and you don't have permission to be there, I think you should be forcibly tossed off. You give one chance, get off my property. If you decide to say no, we're not moving, then the next recourse is you get off my property or else. And you make it known that they're not welcome there. And if they do not move, then you call the sheriff and you have them go. But you keep your foot on the floor. You don't say, well, maybe it's okay. Because it's not. It's not helping the homeless, and it's not helping you, and it's not helping the city of Seattle to allow the homeless to stay homeless. So, having said that, I'm going to let you go on that note. If you happen to bump into this video and you are homeless, put your 2 cents worth down there. I would love to hear it. If you have something to add to the video, something you know, an experience you've had, and you want to share it, put it in the comments below. Also, if you want to hit my thumbs up and like button. Please do that. Give me a big old thumbs up. Smash, pow, smash that button. Also, if you want to subscribe, my button's right down there underneath that side of my video. On that note, I'm going to let you go. Remember, let's make tomorrow better than yesterday by doing the very best we can today. Have a good afternoon, Seattle, and all points beyond.